It is time for our main event of the evening, and it's talking about the WWE releases. Now, Dave,
Mm.
I took some time. I took a minute. I took a beat, and I looked back on our own channel where we have uh, videos, including last year and the year before that, WWE releases, WWE releases. It happens every year. It happens around the same time every year, which is post WrestleMania. This is not new. This happened during the Vince McMahon era. It's now happening in the TKO era. There's nothing really all that different about it. But when I tell you that these current releases have people in a goddamn tizzy, I mean they have them in a goddamn tizzy. First and foremost, I don't even feel like I should do this because it really is a waste of my time and everybody else's. But the developmental class, the NXT slash Evolve slash LFG slash whatever the fuck. Luca Cristofano, Malik Blade, Trill London, Serena Linton, Tyra May Steele, Chris Island, Tyreek, and Tyson all released post WrestleMania. That is all the NXT and developmental crew. We're not even talking about the main roster yet. We're not even talking about the people yet. Right here alone, on this developmental section, there's all kinds of hell being raised. How dare they? They're so mean. They're so unfair. They never got a chance. Let me tell you something. If you're already putting all of your money on the they shouldn't have released them pile, and you're putting it on these individuals that I just listed, you have completely wasted your time. And you have no idea how just life works. And it just in general, as a thing, right? They tried a new job. For most of these people, there's not a whole lot of indie experience involved with these people. So this is a completely foreign thing to a lot of them. They gave it a shot at the highest level. It didn't work out.
Mm.
You're not entitled to the job because you tried for it. It's not designed specifically for you. I wish all of these individuals the best of luck. Here's the problem that I have with people that get released from WWE with no prior experience. They show their true colors. Because any one of those individuals that got released that I just named, if they want to continue in this industry, there are avenues to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of promotions out there would be willing to take a chance on some of these guys right here. They're experienced. They've been trained to from one of the top companies in the world. Any
Mm-hmm.
one of these individuals can be useful on any roster, but they don't have it like that. They don't have that passion like that. We're not going to see any of these fucking people anywhere else. Maybe Luca, tall, good-looking guy. He might get a TNA slot or an MLW somewhere. I don't see Malik going anywhere. I don't see Trill going anywhere. Serena's making this big deal like she's going to do shit. We'll see. Tyra May Steele, the Olympian, got a great pedigree. She'd be great on somebody's roster. All these people, if they really want to do this industry, have all the time in the world to do it. I'm not going to sit here and hang my hat. So now we're on to the main roster. Dante Chen, who's been with them for mad years. I've seen this guy perform. He's not terrible, but he was never going to, nothing was going to come from that. Okay. I'm not even going to go down the list. I'm just going to say, as a whole, the Wyatt Six. Gone.
Mm.
Now, they weren't released at the same time, but also released JC Mateo, or Jeff Cobb as we know him, and Tungaloa from the MFTs were also released. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was hilarious. I texted you. I thought this was hilarious. Imagine going through like a 6-month program. Imagine going through a feud, stable versus stable, complete with storylines, promos, singles matches, tag matches, leading off to a big multi-man blow off And then when that feud is over, all y'all motherfuckers got fired. All the feud came to an end, and someone in the back said, "I can't do any more of this. They all gotta go. Every single goddamn one of them."
I feel bad for the Wyatt Six because I feel like Bo Dallas dragged that whole thing down. I think he was the forefront and he was the leader. And to be honest with you, not to go too deep into it, because at the end of the day, the man is gone. I wasn't a big fan of the original gimmick to begin with. Mm-hmm. I think the wrestler was cool, and he did cool things, which made him interesting. But this isn't me picking on him because he's not here. I've said the same shit before with our conversations when he was here doing it. Yep. That the gimmick, he's awesome. There's fun things about it. The gimmick as a whole, not really a big fan of it. To bring it back respectfully, I mean, I see what they were trying to do. It didn't give anyone else in that group room to do anything. Mm-mm. And it was riding on him. And unfortunately, no disrespect to the guy at all, he doesn't have the same star power. So and he had the opportunity to develop it. It just went nowhere. Now, is it his fault? Is it the fact that a group, I mean, you only had one other stable that you referred to that they can even like go up against? Like, was it writing? Was it positioning? Were they put in the right opportunity? I don't know, but I'm so happy to. Not that they're not here anymore. It'd be cool if they tried to do something else. Like, I like Dexter. I think he's really cool. I just feel like he gets caught up in things like this sometimes, like in like groups and stuff. I don't know. I might be off on that, but I'm glad it's over. I don't have to see it anymore. It does suck that they're gone. I wish they could have done something with the pieces of it, but it is what it is. That gimmick was terrible.
It was never going to work without Bray. I think I was a little higher on Bray than you were, but even I had suggested that without Bray, it was almost meaningless. What is all of this without Bray? Bo is he can wrestle his ass off. There's no doubt about that. He's not a bad wrestler at all. Former NXT champion. This guy knows what he's doing inside the ring. But the character stuff, that's not him. That was never going to be him. This was all planned when Bray was still alive. The fact that they followed through and did it anyway without Bray kind of gives the feeling like they didn't want to penalize these guys specifically because of the passing. So we'll try. We're going to do our best. That debut was crazy. Well, they shut down like all of like Raw and people were like laying on the floor.
It was right.
It was an effort. They tried. It was an effort. They tried to do something, but it was never going to work ever. So I'm glad that they're all going to.
I like the pieces. Their own things. I just didn't like it together. I didn't like it.
I don't like them together either. First of all, I'm not a Joe Gacy guy, period. But Dexter is of the group. Dexter. Yeah. Dexter was the guy they probably should have held on to, despite it. Maybe
who knows? But
Nikki Cross isn't terrible either. No, I'm curious to see what she's going to do outside of the WWE bubble now. I could see her joining Eric Young in TNA. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot of room to do stuff there. So Apollo Crews, who always had the physical tools, always looked like a star. But there's just when Tozawa's getting more TV time than you are, there's something off about that. Athletic to the goddamn hilt. I don't know how much longer he was going to be performing in the ring anyway. He's been doing this a long time.
Like no I promise you, I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say this, but I really just only saw him doing a lot of charity work. Right? Like what I'm being dead ass. Like, didn't he do a lot of like the sponsors, not the sponsorships, but like, you know what I mean? Like the
commercials
the
and stuff. Ads and stuff. Yeah.
No, like with the kids and things like that. Like,
well, they all do that. Like, yeah, they all do that.
Okay, sure, but I only ever saw him doing that.
I would see the other ones do it and then wrestle. I only saw him do the charity thing.
I never saw him doing charity. Every once in a blue moon, I think he held a microphone. Other than
Yeah,
that, like I
they
see the
made
name on
him.
here, I'm like, oh fuck, he's still here. That's
They
crazy.
made him Nigerian royalty at one point, and it was just a mixed bag of different ideas. Santos Escobar is gone, and I don't look. Listen, he made a big stink about creative and how he was being used, and then they threw money in his face, and he went, you know what, fuck all that, and then suffered from it anyway, and then got released anyway. So hey, big ups to him. He's talented as shit. He's gonna find a landing spot somewhere for sure.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, with
I'm not
him,
worried about
I
him.
I feel like they gave him a shot. They put him at a point, a lead of a group. So he's getting the most mic time. He's got to be the one here to run the ship.
Yeah,
I will commit. He tried. I
yeah.
don't know if it was skill. I don't know if it was
Can't cut
opponent.
a
I
promo.
don't know what it was.
Can't cut a promo.
I he could talk too. His mic work wasn't
I
bad.
didn't think. Nah, I don't know.
No. Listen, it wasn't. I'm not calling him terrible. I didn't say he was fucking great. I just said he was terrible. Okay, we have some terrible mic people. So, but it's just like he was uninteresting. I think that's the best way to say it. Every time he was on the screen and he was talking, I was just like, eh. That's why I'm saying he wasn't bad on the mic. I'm
And I
saying
just said, eh.
because it's not like he's doing anything specific where I'm like, this is bad. I'm just like, I don't give a like. There's nothing you're doing that is hooking me right now. I want you off my screen so I can watch something else more entertaining. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this to me isn't a shocker either. And he had a good shot. So we'll see what he does.
I already mentioned JC Mateo and Tangaloa. They go do something else. It's fine. They're gonna be they. I don't know how happy JC Mateo even was being here, being used the way that he was used. That man could work a match with anybody on this roster, and he was just. They had that motherfucker on henchman duty. They didn't see it, so go somewhere else. Do what you gotta do, buddy. Alba Fire kind of sucks. I liked her in the Secret Harvest. I thought the Chelsea thing was working out. They're gonna be repackaging everybody. Chelsea just had major, like I think it's nose or face or something surgery. So she just got this. She's had a condition for like a long time, and they got rectified. So they got to give her some time off. So Alba's gone. The other one is Ladon is gone, and Piper apparently lost like a shit ton of weight. I just saw a picture of her recently. She's dropped like 50 pounds or some shit. She's like, that kind of sucks. I liked her when as a performer. I liked her when she was big. So, Andre Chase from Chase U. He is gone. He's been in NXT since the Black and Gold brand, since way back then. So not really all that excited about that. Your screen is frozen. Oh, there it is. Ah.
I don't know what's doing that.
Zoe Stark. This one kind of sucks. Cause she's still hurt from what I understand. She's still injured from when her knee fucking exploded on her. She tore every fucking ligament in that entire area. She snapped her leg so bad the whole front row suffered ACL sprains. They all got hurt. And I don't know if they released her because there's no way she's ever getting back in the ring, and we just don't know. But they let her go. So I it wasn't like she was setting the world on fire when she was here, but again, nobody on this cut list are bad at what they do. And that's what we're going to talk about at the end of this. Everybody here can perform just fine, but there's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, the Motor City Machine Guns. You can't tell me they can't fucking perform. They're one of the greatest to ever fucking do it. They're gone. And was it you I told this to? I can't remember who I told you because I was asked about this. They were like, oh my God, how could you let the guns go? How could you not?
I will tell you from someone who was not a gun guy, they were completely uninteresting. I'm not saying the guns are bad.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is someone who doesn't have the nostalgic feeling behind the guns and knows what they have done for for wrestling from the WWE, they just came here eyes. They so uninterested.
Well,
So
and I don't know if it was you, so remind me if it was you when you hear it again. But somebody had asked me, AJ, you're as big a gun guy as there has ever been. How could they release these guys? And my response is, in all honesty, I feel like it was very fortunate they got signed at all, because as great as they are, and they're, for the record, top 5 tag team in my book all time, just because of their impression on the industry. They changed a lot about tag team wrestling and the way that things are sequenced in tag team matches today. But that's part of the problem, because the WWE did not get them when they were the innovators. They got them after everybody else had bastardized it. There was nothing that the Motor City Machine Guns do that hadn't already been done on WWE television. DIY stole their shit. The Usos have stolen shit from them. Every tag team who came to WWE stole from the Guns. Every single one. AEW tag team division exists as cosplay Motor City Machine Guns. One of the first feuds for the Guns was an old tag team from TNA called Generation Me. We know them as the Young Bucks. That was what put the Guns and the Bucks on the map, was their feud with each other in TNA. That spot monkey style, the this here, transition here, all that stuff that we see today, where it's dive through the ropes, this person catch me off the top rope here, boom, sequence from this front, and you got to be standing here, and you got to be standing here, and it's a cavalcade of spots, blah, blah, blah. They came up with all that shit. They invented that. That style at that speed is what they do. But that was 08, 09, 2010. They got signed in 2025. That's insane. By the time they got there, they were grandpa. They were the look at the way they were promoted when they got there. When they finally did get signed, everybody in WWE was like, "It's about time," you know. They've been great for a long time, and even Corey Graves on commentary. I used to work with him at the VFW hall myself, and Corey Graves got to WWE before the fucking Motor City Machine Guns did. It was too late. It was too late,
and they tried. Right,
they did.
I feel like, unfortunately, and this is a disservice to the Guns. I think they were tag team's last Hail Mary in the WWE. Yeah. I think they brought them in specifically because of their fandom. Because if you think about it, when the Motor City Machine Guns got here, that is the most tag team wrestling we've seen in a very long time. Now, granted, it was between them and DIY for quite some time, and they mixed it up here and there, but not clumping people together. Actual tag teams. I think we even mentioned that there seems to be an attempt at a resurgence to the tag team.
We did a whole segment on tag team,
and it started specifically with these guys.
Yeah,
I think alongside with another group, these two being released, to me, is WWE going, okay,
enough.
It's just not. It's just not a thing anymore. It's not that they don't want it.
Yeah,
I just don't. I think, unfortunately, there's too much poison in the tag team division right now for it to work. You have too many. I think we talked about this. It's just too much buying time by mushing people together, where you're kind of bastardizing the tag team division. You're putting tag team titles on people, and they don't really have opponent. They're not even running tag team angles with the tag team titles. You just have people with the titles. That's it. And every once in a while, someone will come up and go, "We want to take those," and then we'll have a tag team match. But there's no. It's just not there. And I think the Guns were that last Hail Mary. If anyone can do it, it's got to be the Guns. It was unsuccessful. No fault.
Not for lack of trying. Yeah, they tried.
They walked into a job that was upside down. No man can fix this.
They were really put in a position where, like you said, they were basically assigned to save the division. but they were assigned to save a division that they don't focus on.
No
It's
one's in it.
something it's something that they have because it serves a purpose, but it's not a focal point ever. What you just described 2 seconds ago is what we're doing now with the Vision and the Street Profits on Raw, where we have two guys with belts, and then two guys just showed up and said, "We want those belts." That's it. That's all that this. That's all that it ever really is. So yeah, they were put in a really bad spot, and hey, they're still. It doesn't hurt their legacy in my goddamn eyes. They're still two of the best of all
This is
time.
not a knock on them at all. I mean, look at.
I'm glad. I'm glad I can finally call them former WWE Tag Team Champions. That's all that.
I mean, look at Penta and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Are Alex and Chris willing to split? Because I'm sure they could work something out. We could try something, but
no, I think they only wanted them as a team. I don't think.
These guys have been working together for so long. I could imagine they have no interest in splitting because they can get work up. They are who they are.
No, I'm not. I don't think they would be opposed to splitting because they've done it before. They spent several years not together. About a year or two before the WWE signing was their reunion, because up until that point,
okay. Well, then that piggybacks on exactly what we were talking about. They were brought in for a reason.
I think personally, because when they got back together, I thought it was odd because I had heard there was a falling out, and then Saban went to go do one thing. Shelley became TNA World Champion, so he was doing his own thing. And then seemingly out of the blue, all of a sudden, they were taking bookings together again. And then, Lord and behold, they're in the WWE. So I don't know if that was the deal, where like they were probably talking to Saban, talking to Shelley, and they were like, "Is there any way we could, do the team thing again?" They were like, "Yeah, sure. The money's right. Let's do it. So let's fucking go." And they gave it a shot, and they tried their best to save a division that it's an unfair position, because you can't save a division they don't give a shit about. They don't care about the fucking division. They never have. They haven't in years.
I would argue the division doesn't exist. It doesn't. It's not there. It's not. You have a few lingering tag teams, but again, they're gonna start showing up. They're gonna start showing up on this list. Yeah. You're either gonna split and make it happen, or you're gonna get cut. Tag team's not a thing. It really isn't. You're just gonna have a few to hold the belt for whatever reason.
So Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, I put them together as a tandem. They also got released. They're gonna have a very hard landing spot for them, because I don't think AEW is a possibility for them. And if there really is bad blood there, I don't know if TNA is a landing spot for them. And Ring of Honor is owned by AEW, so that's not going to be a thing. So any place that they wind up is going to be a little lower on the scale. We're talking MLW, maybe some Japan stuff. Maybe he goes back to Europe and does, calls them some favors.
A lower scale. That would probably be their. Would you say that would be like the highest profile one they can probably get into?
Of the options, maybe, but you got to remember something. This is not the New Japan. Whatever image you have of New Japan in your head from a few years ago when we were talking about it, it's not the same place. It's not the same place. They've lost so many times. Evil, another one of their top guys. He was just IWGP champion. He's on NXT. Okada's gone. Naito is in another company. Will Ospreay's gone. They don't have anybody on the roster anymore that's making any international news. Their current champion is like some 23-year-old kid from here, or is he? Hold on. I don't think he's from here. Hold on. Who is the current IWGP champion? What's his name? Connors or something like that? Clark. I got my names all mixed up. Hold on a second. What's coming up? Oh, Callum Newman. He is 23 years old. Where the fuck is he from? He was one of the young boys, but he immediately. Where is he from? And he's from England, so he's British. He was born in London. He's a London boy. And no, but they're they're in a youth movement right now in New Japan. They're starting afresh. They've lost so many people. They're going bare bones at this point and starting over and restructuring everything. I don't know if an Aleister Black fits into that. Unless he's gonna come over there and start doing jobs for the champ, but that's what got him in trouble over here. For some reason, this guy has a hard time laying on the mat. He doesn't want to fucking do shit for nobody. I'm not gonna throw her into that mix, but listen, I have all the respect in the world for Zelina Vega. We worked together at House of Glory a time or two, okay? But they tried. They tried. They gave her the belt. The first thing she does is cave in fucking Chelsea Green's face. She almost drops Rhea Ripley on the back of her fucking head. They did everything they could. It didn't. She probably would have gotten released last year if it wasn't for the Aleister Black signing. Not for nothing. And now you know how the evidence of that is. They both got released together. So if they already made it in their head that they were getting rid of Aleister, they said, take Zelina with you. I knew something was bad when I was sitting in your couch. I was sitting on your couch, and I was reading that the Pat McAfee situation was supposed to be Aleister Black because Aleister Black and Randy had this little thing going on SmackDown, and they took out Black and put in Pat McAfee, and they got so mad they weren't even in Vegas for WrestleMania. I'm watching WrestleMania at your house, and on Zelina Vega's Instagram, they're posting pictures of them with the family at Discovery Cove in Florida. They're on vacation. So I looked right over at stuff and said, oh, this is not good. This is not a good, this ain't good at all. And Lord and behold, like a week or two later, release. I was like, oh, there you go. Saw the writing on the wall on that one. Now this leaves us with two of the most talked about ones. Kairi Sane, which you had asked me about. And I said when you had asked me, I'm really not sure what this is about. There's so many different reports coming out that she wanted to move back to Japan, which she now denies, or at least has hinted that it's not true. That now there's a report going around because there's a whole lot of talk about contracts being restructured, that they were attempting to restructure her deal because, well, not restructure. For her, it wouldn't be a restructure. Her contract was expiring. They wanted to sign her to a new deal that was a lowball deal. And she just decided to just not sign and just go back home, which killed her dead in the middle of a storyline, which they probably assumed, well, she's in the middle of a story. She'll at least do a temporary, no, this is what it's going to be. I guess I'll just go. And that's it. So that
we
takes
were building toward such an awesome payout too.
Yeah.
Such
which
a phenomenal payout.
Which we didn't even get a chance to talk about the fact that Backlash is this weekend. And they have an Asuka Io Sky match, which a lot of people are suggesting probably was supposed to be Asuka and Kairi Sane. Because
if it wasn't, because this makes sense. This doesn't feel like a pivot. But I think, if I'm guessing, the Kairi Asuka thing would have probably started here.
Right.
Something would have happened here.
I think there was supposed
to would have been.
I think Kairi was supposed to turn out Asuka at Mania, not in a match per se. It probably didn't need to be in a match, but they were supposed to be that moment, which led to the Backlash match. But now there's no Kairi Sane, so I guess they figured we'll just put the other Japanese lady in there and figure it out. But she's gone, and that's it. This isn't her first time being released. This is time number 2. So who knows? Let's leave the door open for a possibly down the line. Who fucking knows? But she's gone. And that leads us to our final conversation piece, The New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Now, this is I saved them for last, and I kind of teased it with Kairi when I said that recently there's been a lot of talk of contractual reconstruction. This was not a release. This was a mutual departure, as they're calling it, right? They actually did not want to get rid of the New Day. They being TKO, very much wanted to keep the New Day. As we all know, superior merch movers is New Day. They're Hall of Fame worthy alone on just all
So
the
then why
fucking
not pay them?
merch. Hold on. The marathon just year after year on the merch. They've obviously been very successful on camera with their characters, with promos and storylines and matches. Kofi Mania, the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. They have done all these things. Now, to answer the question that you just asked, why not pay them? They did. They just recently re-signed last year in 2025 that was supposed to take them 5 years to 2030. They were supposed to be signed till 2030. The people that signed them, I cannot vouch for sure as who it was that offered them the deal. What I do know is that the people that spoke to Kofi and Xavier about restructuring their deal were not the people who were involved in the original contract process. They are not us. And that's the biggest point we're going to take from all of this today. TKO doesn't give a shit about the history and the lore of what it is that we do. They say dollars and cents and ones and zeros. And for everybody that sits there and says, after everything that they've done, after everything that they've given, years of service, and it's all correct. They've done so much. They're leaders in the locker room. They're awesome vets. They take people and they try to help them. They're team players. They're the perfect employees, but they're also great on-screen talent. They're perfect for this company, and they have been for a long time. And when people say that, they say, then they deserve whatever it is they want. No, unfortunately, that's not how this goes. All right? The New Day has not worked pro bono up until this point. They've had contracts. They've been paid. They have received money every step of the way. I don't agree with letting them go. In my eyes, they should have been paid whatever it is that they were already. In my eyes, we already had a deal in place. Whatever it was that they were offered in the contract that they were happy with because they signed it. So I'm not even sitting here saying you should pay them more. No, I'm saying you should have just stuck with the fucking agreement you had. It's not like New Day is going to bankrupt you in the next 5 years. Okay, they're not on TV as much. Okay, they're not doing as much. But that doesn't mean that can't change. That's a booking decision. Book them into better positions. It's not like they haven't proven.
Where, though, with no tag team? They're a tag team.
Which leads us to the next problem.
Up until recently, if I'm not mistaken, they were doing quite a one-on-one work.
Right, because as you pointed out earlier when we were referring to the Guns, there's not a lot of emphasis on tag team wrestling.
There it is. Oh my god, dude. It was like that's like 30 minutes later, bro. Oh my god, dude. I've been so focused. I've been trying to get that out for like 20 minutes. All right, go ahead. Oh my god, dude, there's another one behind it. Oh my, I'm so happy right now.
But and this is why they left, because nobody pays attention to their situation. You see what I'm saying?
You said tag team and I sneezed.
When you had mentioned with the Guns that it was already a dying division, there was nobody in the division that was more of a foundation for it than this team. So, if they're willing to part ways with them, all bets are off. It's never there. There's a lot of talk right now that they're trying to renegotiate Roman's contract at this point. Nobody's safe right now. They're selling everything from the canvas to they're cutting up pieces of the canvas and selling that. They're putting Slim Jim on the table. We've got 1,000 ads per show. And if there's anything better than doing sponsorship that brings money in, is cutting costs so that money means more. And unfortunately, that's going to go toward the staff. Now, in this particular, again, I'm not for this, but business 101, a contract is not for what you've done. A contract is for what you will do. It's a prediction on what kind of income I am going to make off of your services. That's what a contract is. If you've been great for 10 years, I don't give you a 5-year deal because you were great for 10 years. I give you a 5-year deal because you're going to be great for the next 5 years.
A lot of people don't look at it that way.
No, they see it as a fucking reward, which it's not.
Right. But the best way to kind of think about contracts is if I'm paying you $5 million to do something, I'm anticipating almost like a tenfold on that. Like a
Yes.
business, if I'm going to give you X amount of mil, I'm probably going to get a larger number than that in return. So yes, I'm going to give you this 10, 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get 60, 80 out of your whatever
Right.
I'm paying you. I'm going to get that return back. I
Right.
know a lot of people don't look at contracts that way.
I
It's like you get it.
I tried to explain that to independent wrestlers when they're coming up in the system and they're trying to figure out where should I base my fee, because there's some people, oh, I want $100. All right, fair. Am I going to make 200 off of you?
Mm-hmm.
Because where is the 100 coming from? I'm not going to donate $100 to you so that you can go wrestle in the ring. Like that's not going to work. I was always taught it's the rule of double, right?
Mm.
If you can't double my money, what are we doing? Because it's okay. I'm going to pay you $50. That's what you want. You want $50 from me. So the rule of double would indicate that in order for the $50 to make sense, I have to make $100. So if I'm running a wrestling show, and let's say I'm doing a cheap show, $10 a pop, $10 a seat, right? That means for my $50 to make sense to give you, I need to make $100. So if each seat is 10, I need to sell 10 seats to make your fee make sense. Will 10 people pay me to come see you? Because if not, then the 50 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense now, does it? Now, there's another way to see it where I can pay you the 50 now because I know on this show I won't make $100, but I'm going to lock you into that 50 moving forward. And then I'm going to promote you and make it so that 10 people want to come see you. And now
if you can't bring me 100 people, you can bring me 10. I see with you and what you do, I can get you to 100. So I'm going to pay you this much. Now, give me your likeness. Right. I'm going to put you out there, and you are going to bring me 100 people by the time we get to the end of this contract. So you sign that contract, you are signing up for work. You need to put in the work.
In this particular case, TKO is not at the negotiating table saying, "Oh, I love what you've done." Like Kofi's been with the WWE for 20 years. Okay? TKO is not coming to the negotiation table saying, "Hey, Kofi, I saw what you've done for the last 20 years. It's amazing. Here's a 5-year deal just cuz." No, they're going to say, "Okay, I've seen what you've done for the last 20 years. Is it possible
you got 5 more in you
that you can do it for 5 more, and then I'll pay you for the 5?" If the answer is fucking no, then no. Now, here is where the rubber meets the road. Xavier and Kofi probably do believe that they can continue their high level of success
if put in the right position.
If put in the right position, and if history has told us anything for the last year or so, they're not being positioned in that way anymore.
Because unfortunately, wrestling isn't like selling homes, right? Like I can't get up. I can't. There's a level. There's an element, very important element of control that is out of your hands. So you can get up, you can be the best, you can know how to talk, you can know how to do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if TKO or Triple H or whoever makes the decision doesn't put you on camera, there's no, you can be the greatest in the world. It doesn't matter. You cannot. I can hit a home run every time I'm at plate, but if you don't put me on the plate, I can't hit a home run. Right. So to that point, I'm just saying I agree with you. I can hit a home run every time. Are you going to put me on the plate? That's it.
This is why I feel it was a mutual departure. Because here's the part that everyone's missing. You heard it here first. They didn't go to the negotiation table asking, "Hey, you think you can keep this going for the next 5 years?" Because TKO already knew the answer. The answer is no. and we know it's going to be no, because we're not going to put you in a position to do it. We have no intentions to use you in a high profile situation ever again. So we'll like to keep you on the roster, but we're not going to pay you like top talent if we're not going to use you like top talent. So they probably
here's the thing. Here's a fucked up thing. They would get paid as top talent for their division. That doesn't exist. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like that's another thing you got to kind of understand. Hey, you are creme de la creme of tag team at a high level.
Yeah, but we don't do tag.
There are no tag teams.
Yeah,
so you're still going to be the number one paid tag team. You just ain't getting paid.
Well, here's
and you won't even like get to play with your craft. We're not going to have you on camera nearly as much either. So you're just going to sit in purgatory while you get paid less. And for some people, me included, I'll take that deal because I don't know my worth.
Yeah. Well, here's
them. They probably just like, no, I'm good.
Here's an interesting part of the conversation because you keep saying they don't have tag teams. You and I sat here for 30 minutes, did a whole segment on how many tag teams they actually do have. That just goes that just goes to show to you how little they give a shit about it. They have tag teams. We don't see any of them on fucking TV.
That's not fair. Only in this moment I will say it's at the end of the day, numbers talk. The people don't want tag team. The people don't want it. Whether they're not writing it right or whatever the case may be, the people just don't want it. I know I don't.
And now you're.
And I speak for the people.
I was going to say now you're getting into deep water because the last part of the conversation. Remember, I said at the very beginning of the show, we're going to have to start walking people through the hard part. Remember, I said it's time to eat your vegetables. You just nailed it on the head right there, and we're going to expand. For everybody who keeps saying this is TKO, TKO is doing this, TKO is doing that, they're not going anywhere. This is what it's going to be. So we as adults, both as performers and as fans, you'll have to start to make the decision as to how much you genuinely want to support this company moving forward. Because it's not enough to sit there and complain. It's not enough to sit there and hashtag we want Kyrie. Because if you're still going to buy the merch, if you're still going to go to the shows, if you're still going to buy the apps, they don't give a shit. Mark Shapiro with his own mouth. I just heard the audio. It was played. I didn't even know there was actual audio. I read it last week when we talked about last week because we didn't do wrestling. 2 weeks ago when I did the whole Mark Shapiro and TKO thing where I was like TKO is stating they have their hands in the creative. I thought that was an article. I thought that was a sit-down interview. There's audio. This guy said this shit on camera. I heard it on Cornette's podcast. This guy literally said with his own mouth that when you price things a certain way, when you package things a certain way, and when you go after certain clientele, you scare off other people. And he's fine with that because he knows what he's after, which means if you're the kind of person who's got the championship belts in their room and you got the face paint on and you buy all the merch and you buy this and you buy that, but you can't afford the WrestleMania tickets, but you're getting sick and tired of the ads, but you want to criticize the creative. He doesn't give a shit. They don't care. They don't hear you. It does not matter to them. Either buy the shit or shut the fuck up. They don't care.
Or don't.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't care about that either. They complain. It doesn't listen, at the end of the day, bad publicity is good publicity too. So as long at the end of the day, it is ones and twos, man. If they look at the data, if they hear the do they still call them tweets? The X's. Yeah. If they hear the tweets, if they hear the posts and all the arguments, they hear all that, and the sentiment is we don't like it. Yeah, like damn, we got to do something to fix this. We want to make sure we hit the bottom line. Bring up the data. Let's take a look, see what we could do. and it's bang, 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 bang. And we're just like, wait a minute. Hold on. I know you don't like this, but you're buying it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep giving you what
Yeah.
you're buying
Mm-hmm.
because I can't cash your emotions at the bank.
Yeah.
But you're writing the check. So I'm gonna keep doing this. So at the end of the day, look, what's gonna end up happening is either they're geniuses and we're just going through a transitional patch where we're gonna get a new system and that's just the way it's gonna work, and then people will adapt and it'll go back to normal, or they're gonna tank it and have to do something to fix something. And then we'll just go into a longer grieving period on whatever the fuck is happening. But as long as the numbers are green, if you don't like this, you don't keep getting it.
And this is not going to change. And I'm gonna end this segment right now with this bombshell because I think it's something to think about. This is going to be the clip that we put on YouTube that's going to get the hits right here. You ready? This is the viral. This is the viral moment. Okay,
we up from here.
if you think for 1 second that they give two shits about how you feel about anything, you're absolutely wrong. But I advise all fans and all future performers who are even thinking of getting into the WWE to keep one major fact. This is a fact in mind. Before TKO purchased WWE, WWE went to the Saudis first. And they wanted to buy it. The problem is they didn't like the package deal, which was that Vince McMahon would have to remain in power in WWE. They didn't like that. So they passed on it. TKO bought that, but they got bailed out because the Janelle Grant case happened and it forced Vince out of power. So they no longer got married to the idea that Vince had to be a part of it. He was heavily compensated for it. That man's richer than he's ever been rich in his entire life. But they got lucky and they got him out of the picture. TKO is in debt for whatever reason. I don't remember the specifics. But they're using the WWE to get out of that debt. That's why there's advertisements every 2 seconds. That's why there's advertisements on the mat, on the tables. They're making every dollar that they can. That's why the prices are so fucking high. They're bleeding this company as dry as they can humanly bleed it. And then here comes the bombshell part. When that debt is gone, when they're back into black ink and they're comfortable yet again, and they can go back to playing, they're going to sell it again.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to sell it again. And this time, they're going to go to the Saudis. And they're going to say, hey, remember that deal you wanted in the first place? Especially the one where Vince McMahon wasn't a part of the deal? We'll match the price. No Vince McMahon, you can have it. We're done with it. We made our money. And then the Saudis will take it. It's going to get even fucking worse. So there is, as I forgot who it was who said it. I forget what movie it was, where he was like, yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's an oncoming train. It's not going to get any better from here. They gave you a year to think and believe that Triple H really had power and stroke. And then all the criticism started, and they've revealed to the world, oh, it's not Hunter, it's us. And we don't give a fuck. So tweet to your heart's content. We don't give a shit. Prices are not coming down. Merch is all going to be the fucking same. We're going to put the people in positions that we want them to put it in, and we're going to make money because you doofuses just keep giving it to us in barrels. And then once we've bled it until it can bleed no more, and it's pale and twitching on the floor, we're going to put WWE's carcass into a fucking packaging crate and send that shit to the Middle East. And then you can have it from there. And we'll hope and pray that the Saudis, you know, those people you hate so much, have a heart and decide to keep wrestling tradition alive. And if you want any evidence of what I'm saying to you, 2 factors. Where is WrestleMania at next year? It's in Saudi Arabia. Why would they do that? Besides keeping their relationships good and open. Also, we just had an event at when was the last event at Saudi Arabia? The Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble happened in Riyadh during Riyadh season. I don't work for the WWE, but the WWE set their schedule around Riyadh season. For us, it was the middle of the afternoon, but for Riyadh, that pay per view didn't start until 10 o'clock at night, and it ended at 2 in the morning. Why on earth would WWE revolve their schedule around somebody else's unless they're trying to keep the relationship good and open? It's a good faith tactic. They're keeping within good faith because they want that communication open so that once their debt goes away, they can offload it and they can stop being TKO and go back to being Endeavor. You know, the company that none of these wrestling fans had ever fucking heard of in their fucking life up until the purchase. They can go back to being the behind the scenes Wizard of Oz, making billions and trillions of dollars on a whim. And the wrestling company itself will be off in the Middle East, surviving in the hot, sweaty, uncomfortable, sandy deserts of Saudi Arabia. So if you don't like TKO, you know that country you've been shitting on for the last 10 years? They might be the next owners. Are you still going to be a fan? So it's time to think about it. Right here, right now. If you're willing to give up your fandom because they got rid of Kyrie Sane, if you're prepared, because I'm going to tell you right now, how many times do I say it on the show? They got me. They got me. I can't get out.
You're gonna go to the motherfucking Saints.
I'm going to sink to the bottom with this motherfucker. I'm chained to this goddamn. I'm chained to the wheel of the shit.
Look at you telling everybody to get off while they still can.
I'm trying to be the hero. I'm telling you, I have been watching this company every day of my life since the late 80s. I'm telling you, I've seen highs, I've seen lows. And this motherfucker is about to fall off the edge of the earth like some Pirates of the Caribbean shit. I'm telling you, this is not good. Because the strongest player we had was Triple H. If he's got nothing, we're fucked. We're fucked. So, they got me. Save yourselves. Save yourselves. Get off the ship while you can. Because this is not getting any better. It isn't. I just found out recently they were reporting that Triple H's contract with WWE was almost up and he almost didn't resign. If we would have lost him, oh my God.
They threw money at him. They threw money at him because they knew that would be a whistle. That'd be a, what do you call that? A whistle blow?
Yeah,
whatever.
That would be
Triple H walking away would have been
abandoned ship. That would have been a red alarm.
If your theory is correct, which I don't think it's far-fetched, that would have blew the top off of it.
Yep.
So they probably tried to lowball him or even keep him at his contract, to be honest with you, because
but
he obviously deserves more.
The timing of this rumor now being released that he recently resigned with WWE, everyone's talking about fucking with the New Day. Everyone's talking about Roman Reigns. Where are we at when they're forcing Triple H to restructure? Nobody's fucking safe, bro. The fucking janitor in the building's like, wait a minute, what happened? Who's doing what now? Nobody's safe. Nobody. Ones and zeros. These guys didn't wake up wrestling fans, bro. They're not in this like we in this. They don't look at anybody on this roster and go, yeah, that guy's untouchable. All y'all motherfuckers could go. That's it. The New Day, I told my wife as an example, let's say the New Day was making $800,000 a year. They probably were making more, but let's say they were making $800,000 a year. And TKO goes, hey, we want to restructure the deal. Can you take $400,000? And they go, no, I'm not taking half. And they go, okay, so I guess it'll be zero? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Well, that's talk. Listen, one or two things. They're either a lot closer than we think they are, and they're trying to do that last push. Like, maybe, can we do this? I know we're set up for 5 years. I'm not talking about New Day. I know we're projecting 5 years. Can we do this in 2? How do we do that? Oh, we do this, and this, and this. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about wrestling that isn't the same about the NBA or the NFL. It's like there's a lot more talent in the NBA and the NFL and baseball that you can kind of bully people like that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just replace a Roman Reigns.
No.
You can't. No
Well,
matter how hard you try to push someone to the moon, it's not going to land.
But there's a problem with that thought process because you're thinking about that in a logical sense, not a business sense. In their heads, they're going to say, we'll make another one. Now, we know based on history how hard that is to do. It's almost impossible, but that's not how they see it. It's like, in their heads, they're going, this is a fake business.
I agree with you.
Script another Roman Reigns.
I agree with you, which is why I believe we're going off your theory here. Mm-hmm. I believe what you're saying, which is why I'm saying they're a lot closer than we think they are.
Yeah.
Because if they're a lot of people who aren't at that high level of business like to call people at that level stupid. I'm a firm believer these are some of the smartest motherfuckers in the world. Now, we'll call them stupid because they're being insensitive. And why would you fuck with a Roman Reigns when he's your best guy? That's stupid. Yeah. No, they're not stupid. They see that it's in front of them. They know exactly what the fuck he is. He can go up there and talk all this shit he wants. You are a dollar amount. And at the end of the day, all I need is just this much more. If we're going off your theory, I just need this much more.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to come down off of that, big guy, or I'm just going to leave. You just made it easier for me. Because now I'm going to get 2 years of feeding these people bullshit without your salary.
Yeah.
Let's say Roman's getting 10 mil. I'm making up bullshit numbers, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he gets paid 10 mil. They want to restructure him down to 5. And he says, no, I'm not doing that. Fuck you. I'm leaving. I'm up 10 mil.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
They don't lose anything here.
I was willing to eat 5. Now I'm just going to take all 10 mil back, bro, I guess.
I would have did this in 2 years with you at 5. I'm done tomorrow if you leave. So it's up to you. You're going to resign? That's fine.
Because some contracts...
I'll put the belt on anyone. It doesn't matter. I just need a little bit of time. That's all I need.
Unless they have buyout clauses, because some contracts, in order for them to terminate the contract, they have to buy them out. But I don't think this is the case with these contracts. I think literally when you get released, you just get released. That's it. It's a done fucking deal. And the hilarious shit is a lot of these motherfuckers. A lot of these motherfuckers. Yeah, no, he wrote the book.
He wrote some of these crazy ass.
Yeah, he wrote the book on that one. They're still getting hit with the 90 days. Still. That's fucking insane.
Vince ain't sounding so bad after all, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of motherfuckers crazy out here right now talking about, yo, Janelle Grant's a snitch, bro. What's happening? How did we wind up here, bro? There's actually, you're joking, but there's people online seriously saying, guys, we need to get Vince back. That's
I'm not joking. You were sitting here when we watched the Hall of Fame and that place erupted.
Thank you, Vince James.
I called it. I am on Vince McMahon return watch. Now, again, if your theory is correct, that ain't never going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But the people, they want him back, dude.
They clamoring for it.
I'm telling you. I'll take 5 more Cenas if it means he comes back.
The more TKO makes decisions, the more the fans look at Vince and go, you know what? Water under the bridge. You know what? People make mistakes, right? Or whatever insensitive bullshit they come with. You know what? You're not that terrible a guy. I was in my feelings. He was
no Hitler, right?
Yeah, well, right, yeah. Who did Hitler
fuck a few people? I mean, come on, dude.
Now, who hasn't shit on their spouse's head or like a significant other? Who hasn't getting drunk and, just let the fecal matter flow? I mean, it just is what it is. He shouldn't be held to this 1 or 17 different things that he did that was so terrible to this human being that would put him in jail if he wasn't a millionaire. Oh my God. There really are people that are doing this shit, but it is what it is. All right, guys.